Yes, hello. Welcome back to the Street Mic. Hope you're all doing well. I got a guest here. We hosted him last time when he visited Denmark for the first time. But today we want to find out his opinion. He has been here for quite some time now. Opinion about his trip and how he has enjoyed Denmark so far. So you're welcome to have our guest, Robert. You're welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tommy. First of all, I appreciate you so much for hosting me in Denmark, Copenhagen. You can see I've put on the cap of Copenhagen and the t-shirt as well.
Yeah.
Nice experience in Europe. As I said, today is my last day. I'll fly back to Africa, Uganda in particular. Nice experience. I've enjoyed the ambience. I think I came the time when the summer is starting, but though I still felt cold. I moved around, did some shopping. I created a lot of network. The reason for my visit in Denmark was for this summit, Copenhagen Democracy Summit.
Copenhagen Democracy Summit, eh?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the summit. How did it go?
The summit went on very well. The organizers were on spot. We had top peoples and diplomats, delegates from different countries. We had friends from Nigeria and Ghana. Okay. And then also from Uganda, we had Honorable Lucia Kello, the woman member of parliament for Amoro, where I work in our office. We had the president of Venezuela, the opposition leader, for Venezuela, who was here, and he gave a very powerful statement. And of course, most of the Democrats, the dictators, do not like them when they're back home. I also interacted with youth from the UK Parliament. I interacted with so many youth also from Korea, UK, and then also from Ukraine.
Okay, so this was quite a big summit, right?
Yeah.
So it's a Copenhagen Democratic Summit. So
yes,
Copenhagen,
2023.
Copenhagen is Denmark.
Copenhagen is Denmark.
But why? How does that relate to the whole world? Now you have talked about South Korea, talked about Nigeria, Ghana, talked about South America. How does it come to Copenhagen democracy to the world democracy? What was it about?
When you hear well, I also made mention that we had the president of Czech Republic, and he made a statement that democracy is global. Where there is no democracy, there will be no freedom, and where there's no freedom, every part of the world is affected. And so I meant also in Uganda, where I come from, we don't see freedom of expression. We have so many like Nkwenza who ran out of the country. We had also Bobby Wine who came, and it's the party president for NUP. He also made a speech. He did performance. He rallied people to support that we need democracy in Africa. We need democracy in Uganda.
Okay, so there's a lot about democracy, right?
It's about democracy, freedom of speech, and good governance.
Okay, that's good. Like when we talk about democracy, we think about freedom first. So I know you were in the summit. I didn't attend it myself. So like we here in Europe, we think that human rights is under democracy. We have problem. The challenge is there are Africans who are in Europe who are really having a lot of problem with documentation. Some of them are not yet they don't have the proper documentation to work here in Europe, and so they live near like slaves. Do this kind of experience of the Africans also come in this kind of platform? Have you?
You're right, and that also touches what a typical debate that talks about the China influence to Africa, which they're also doing construction, but of course with a lot of heavy pays that comes from us, the taxpayers in Africa.
Yeah.
But apparently we thought Europe would be much better, but also there are challenges getting visa to come to Europe. Even if you want to go back for such a summit, it's not easy.
No.
And then also the paperwork, clarity, and all this. However, I think if we talk of democracy to be global, let's them also give us freedom where an African feel at home. We are looking at globalization per se.
Yeah.
And that's mean if I travel from a different country to another, I should be free to access services. I should be free to express myself with values and respecting the sovereignty of the particular country that you visit.
Okay.
So I think it's challenging that the fellow Africans are finding it rough and tough in Europe. So many are perishing in the seas crossing because of the autocratic leadership in Africa.
Okay.
So if they keep on donating money to support the autocrats, the dictators, that means they also not think of freedom. That's why they will have challenge of African running to come and find a better life, better economy, better job.
And then they get into this kind of problem.
Yeah, of course, for me in particular, I've learned a lot. I've seen discipline, I've seen the values, how the country here, Denmark, appreciates humanity, taxpayers' money.
Yes.
So I think there's a lot I am going to replicate and take back home, especially greening the environment, corresponding very well. I created a lot of network. I shared my business card. I talked about the farm I do in Uganda and the role I play as a Democrat at the office of Honorable Lucy Okello. I'm a researcher and technical advisor in terms of research and documentation.
Wow, a lot you're taking back home. Greening, you have talked about democracy and human rights. All this you think you're going to be taking back home. We're going to be coming back with our guest to ask him how his experience so far, besides all the summit experiences, has been. So keep watching. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome back. And you had quite an experience, a long list.
Yeah.
You had guests you all over the world that attended the summit, but now we're turning back to you. You have been here, you attended such a a life-changing summit. Tell us one or two things that is feasible that can be replicated in your community, because I know where you come from. Uganda is a very diverse community, and so talking about democracy, it can be applied by the government, but the community may apply something different. So tell us what can be applicable in your community where you come from.
Yes, thank you, Tommy. And I think from what I've seen here, what is applicable is first of all awareness creation and advocacy. To see that we allow inclusion. Not everybody shares idea like you do. Some people have a diverse area. So diversity in unity is what I think is feasible. The person that I work in her office, the woman member of parliament, Honorable Lucy, like interaction with the electorate. So what I think I'll go and do is to mobilize community, and we share the experience from here. Of course, this emanates from the local, from me, who is working in research unit. What are the challenges? We identify gaps in the community. Then she comes and address what we call community feedback, which I think has not been so formula, so much regular also with other leaders. So if she could start such, with support of me coordinating, networking, and where we have the geopolitical aspect of different young political leaders, like mentorship, identifying upcoming leaders.
Yes.
Because sometimes we think this can be achievable now, but we want to set pace for the next generation.
Yes.
So she's very willing to really have a cohort of youth taken through training on leadership and management, and being responsible in community. Like as I talked about environment, we have a planning of planting trees, and we are going back in the season where you can plant trees. So we will lobby and plant about 1,000 trees, because cutting of the trees is so enormous.
That is within the city you talk about?
Yes, within the city and within Amuro, her constituency.
Okay.
So it is kind of advocacy, and then also rallying people not to cut trees, and also not to sell their land, not to sell the trees to people from different culture, from different directions, but also allow coexistence peacefully.
So I like that that part where you want to plant trees, green up the more of the community. But I also know that in Uganda we are really suffering with the plastic waste disposal. And in your experience in this city, you have seen how it's managed. I really want that to be addressed. Now, you are a very responsible person in the community. Actually, you nearly do more work than the MP herself, because she's always in the city. So you are in that community responsible. How do you assure us that when you make the next video, you have dealt with the plastic waste disposal in your community compared to where you're now making an interview from?
Yeah, that is a very good experience. I've seen a lot of waste management systems in Copenhagen, and at least I know people that are already trying. And of course, that person studied in Denmark, so he learned a lot.
Okay.
He has a company that does recycling in Gulu called Takataka Plastic. That's Peter Okoro. And I think what we can do for now, because we don't have a machine that can help in recycling, but we can advocate on the collection and proper disposal of those waste materials. Of course, that's.
I think you could sell it to Peter.
Yeah.
Because I think
he buys them.
Okay.
He buys them. So that means we need to work around to see that every trading center in Namur has a a garbage collection point where people come and dump plastics, caveras, and all these recyclables.
Sort them out, then you
sort them out.
Okay.
So if we could also put that in a context where we can get some funding through the office of the Member of Women Parliament of Amuru,
okay,
we can also get some funding where we would buy off from the community, then arrange them well and dispose or give it to recycling center.
We'll have this done. I'm following up.
Yeah. Thanks so much. And I also like to put things in paper and then also practicability of it, which I know right now is what is at the inception stage. We want to do a feasibility study and then roll it out. Okay. So from the period of 4 months and above, we shall have already planted the trees. Okay. I'll give you the number of trees that will plant. That will be really communicated. Yeah. And then the waste collection, we would start with towns that has the highest dumping rates anyhow in the compound. Yeah. Then gradually we scale, because Amuru is the biggest district in northern Uganda, bordering South Sudan. So we have so many trading centers in between. But we can identify, and I promise you that within 6 months we shall have established a collection point.
Wow.
Yeah, at least 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah. So we are coming. Street Mike is going to be following in Amuru district in northern part of Uganda. You have your representative here. Of course, he's not the only one, but he comes from the office of the woman representative. That is the whole district, and so he got a little more responsibility. But then. That one is a very, very big promise of made to us, and sure. I'm very happy that you're able to.
We see it being manageable, because you have structures that works also at the field level. The office of the Women Member of Parliament, Honorable Lucy, and then I can stay ahead. What I'm doing is doing the technical backstopping, putting paper in order, coordinating and networking, and then also rallying the youth to see the values of all this.
Rallying the youth to see the value of all this. We'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep watching. Yes, Robert.
Yes, Tommy.
It's time to go back home. But you have been here and you have had such a recount of unbelievable experience. But I want you to talk to the youth out there who are still in Amuru, who haven't even traveled maybe to Kampala. The importance of travel. How has travel changed the way you look at life from your experience coming to Denmark? And have you ever been to a country besides Denmark?
Yeah, yes, I've been to Kenya, I've been to Rwanda of recent before I came to Denmark.
Yes. And
my experience is that if you travel, okay, literally, there's an old adage that says, if you keep on eating your mother's food, you think people's mothers don't know how to cook well. So I've been eating food from Uganda.
Yes.
After crossing to Rwanda, oh my God, a new story. Now I'm in Denmark, new story. So mindset change is real. And what you see and you think you can replicate back home, it is possible. So even if you can travel around and see Masation Falls, travel around and go to Amuru Hot Spring, go to Guruguru, there's a lot of history, a lot of traveling that you really interact with people, scan the environment, the nature, the bondage that we'll have with the foreign countries really will change. I am impressed, and I would like to say that anything is possible. Amidst all the challenges, Kiswahili wanasema inawezekana. It is possible.
Inawezekana.
Yeah, inawezekana. It's possible. So yes. That means if you want us to travel, you need to be a typical citizen. Have your paper, right? Yes. Passport, have your national ID. What is required of you as a citizen? You are paying tax. So for you also to consume and travel to places nearby, you don't need to have a wide travel from Europe to come and say, there's a spot here.
Yes.
So my traveling has helped me to network. First of all, meeting Tommy, it has been almost 15 years apart. We have never met. And then also creating new friends.
Yes.
I've given out my business card. I talked about the farm I do. I've also talked about the role I play in the office of the Women Member of Parliament, and then also the connection. Some of them are promising to be in Uganda within 2 weeks. I have a friend who works here in Copenhagen. It's called Ofe. He's coming to Uganda, and we shall have more discussion taking further afield what can be done in Uganda, and that's already taking place here. And another Kiswahili word, if you travel, you will see the world, you'll not be the same.
Yeah.
Tembea ona dunia. Travel and see the world.
Travel and see the world.
Yeah.
So you have shared your experience and travel and see the world. Now, Africans in Africa want to travel in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But you have one visa to Denmark. you can travel to about 8 countries in Europe or more. What will you tell that child who wants to travel to Congo, who want to travel to Niger or a nearby African country, who need to go through issues of visa and all these processes to get an African country? What is that you're looking forward to, making sure that they are able to travel without these inconveniences?
I will start with East Africa, where I'm much familiar. So at least now you can use only the national ID to travel to Kenya, national ID to travel to Rwanda, national ID to travel to the East African community. Only that you need confidence.
And a bus too, right?
And a bus to and fro. You don't need to think of Uganda Airlines, maybe it's expensive. To Kenya it's about 1.2 Ugandan million shilling. But on a bus it's about 120,000.
Even 60,000.
Yeah. So you can manage that, but that's why I'm saying if you travel, you can network. If you have your old boys association that you start with them, some people are outside the country. You can get accommodated the way Tom hosted me in Denmark. You don't need to carry a lot of money on you, but the change that you will get, it's real. The experience, the networking, that sometimes it leads to job opportunity. We know youth has a lot of challenges.
Yes.
They're not employed, and then with the hard economy in Uganda, you really need to network. Yeah. So I think the African Union should think along, allowing other Africans to travel with visa-free and
using the national ID only traveling.
The national ID only traveling. Because I got Schengen visa, which allowed me to travel to Sweden, Germany, all this.
Norway.
Even Italy.
Yeah.
But only that I had only one obligation to come and finish in Denmark. I'll again travel next time when my visa still allows.
You'll again travel next time when the visa allows, and that's when we shall also ask him all the questions we were asking before. So, thank you so much for honoring our invitation also to Street Mike and sharing your opinion and support. We really love the way you're also empowering youth in your community. This is what we're really looking forward to. Empowering voices like yours, amplifying it to the world. This is not only a challenge in your community, but in communities around the world, especially Africa. It's very related. So I think that your voice is going out there powerful enough that what is happening in Amoro district, which is a district in Uganda, is happening in many communities. So don't think that what is happening in Uganda is not happening in your country, but people like this represents those voices. So thank you so much, and I wish you the safe travel back home. And anything you want to say to the Street Mike?
Yeah. This man here, I'm thumbing the chairs. He's doing a tremendous work. So many videos have already been following him. Go to Street Mike on Facebook, click that link, follow him. Let's make it popular. He has a link on YouTube, Street Mike. I will also be following him on LinkedIn. We need professional links, statesmen, local content. Bring even next time. I think Tommy, you also need to do in the local language. Side that the youth who are down there in Amolata, Doro, Gulu, Lera, Paj, Amoro gets to know what's happening, and at least they can also interact and make it popular. One thing I've learned in Denmark also is that they love their language so much, but also they have studied, so they know English, and it was easy for me to interact and also get supported.
Thank you so much.
Follow Tommy, learn more, get more information. Please.
Thank you. Love you, bro.
Street Mike.
I didn't bump for your
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Keep watching. As we have told you before, this is made possible by Connect Up mobile application. So you go to Google Play Store, go to App Store, and download Connect Up mobile application so that you can share the same experience. Thank you for showing love and supporting this program from the beginning. Love you. Till the next one.
Gotta go.
Street Mike, the best mic.